Amazing. I've got to tell someone about this. Hey, all you people. Hey, all you people. Hey, all you people, won't you listen to me? Skibbity beat about a boot about a daddy now, yeah. Thank you.
Closest thing to Michelle Pfeiffer that you've ever seen. Oh, lady, I wanna be your left-hand man.
Well, I mean, I just haven't really had any lousy boyfriends in the last year and a half.
Is he?
It's been good. It's been good.
I'm not. I've never dated guys.
Yeah.
But looking around, I would think it would be hard to find a decent guy because guys just generally are jerks.
I'm just not really looking around for them, at them, shopping. I'm not doing any of that. So.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nadia, and this week we're doing the Taylor Swift timeline, going more into Kaylor, the release of the 1989 album, and how that era goes, and from when she's 24 years old to when she's 25 years old. Don't forget to check out my Google Doc and my playlist and my other social media accounts. Let's get into this. March 6th of 2014, I perceive, is when Taylor and Karlie officially got together. And then we have the summer of 2014 to give us all the feels right in our faces. Early April of 2014, Taylor makes a Tumblr, and the first post on there that I could find was this post. April 15th, 2014, she's popped grabbing dinner with Karlie yet again. They hit up the gym before heading to dinner. In April of 2014, I perceived to be between the 17th and the 22nd, Taylor and Karlie both went MIA at the same time. And Taylor later posted a picture of herself that said looking for Easter eggs. And Karlie took that picture and they took a tropical trip because in May, Taylor told the person who was going to interview her that she had just gotten back from being away with Karlie. Also, when they got back, they both resurfaced the same day in New York and had tans. And that day was April 28th of 2014 when they were leaving the gym. A Tumblr post I also found was May 1st of 2014. And she captioned it, "Look who I found," hashtag Stay Fearless Chloe. May 2nd of 2014, they had a dinner party. And I'm told that Karlie's apparent ex was there as well. They went to the Harry Josh pre-Met Gala party May 4th of 2014. The next day, they went to the actual Met Gala together, May 5th of 2014, captioned it, "Hair, Makeup, Motown Dance Party," which Motown is also in King of My Heart. Also remember, this Met Gala, May 5th of 2014, she's wearing the dress that she was buried in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, so it's probably where, the newness, where she felt like she was reborn, at least publicly, May 5th of 2014, at the Met Gala. It's her new image, her new sound. She's clean, and then later on she's buried in this dress in the Look What You Made Me Do music video. May of 2014, Taylor is working with Jack, and Karlie also posts a picture May 18th of 2014 of flowers saying "I feel loved," and they remind me of the flower posts that happened right after the Victoria's Secret fashion show. I want to point out that in this interview that she does in May of 2014, a copy of Z, a novel by Zelda Fitzgerald, laid by the bed. At the Met Ball, when other women were clawing their way to the front of the queue for Rihanna's after party, Swift started a counter campaign, inviting girls she met in the bathroom to her house for a pizza party. It also mentions a quote that Karlie gave about Taylor, and it says, "Taylor's an incredible and special friend of mine. She's humble, caring, and thoughtful, and she has a huge heart. No matter how big she gets, she still feels like a girl in a coffee house or in her bedroom, singing her honest feelings." And then Jack says, "Those feelings usually get completely lost when people get successful in pop music. When you're starting out, you write the best songs because you're pouring everything you've ever been into them. But somehow Taylor manages to do that over and over again." And then Taylor, in this interview, says, "I've learned after 18 months of being single that I can live without anyone. And of course there are going to be songs about love, but it's not to the level of complete and utter chaotic devastation that you saw on Red." Swiftgron shade. I don't think I could make that album twice. I don't think I could ever want to. Whew. Dating or finding someone is the last thing on my mind because I can't picture how it could work with the way my life is. I don't know how a guy is supposed to walk next to his girlfriend when there are 20 men with cameras and he can't protect his girlfriend because that's the life she chose. I just don't see how it could work, so I don't think about it, and I kind of run from it when it presents itself because I don't think any guy really they think that they would want to get to know me and maybe date me, but I don't think they want what comes with it. The following day, the interviewer actually received a bouquet of peonies with a short quote attached. So Taylor's known as some flowers, of course, but the quote that's in the flowers that this interviewer receives in May of 2014 says, "Look closer and you'll see something extraordinary, mystifying, something real and true. We have never been what we seemed." So obviously that's alluding a little bit to reputation, like the concept of reputation, which was kind of explored a little bit in 1989, at least in thematic elements. But the quote that was sent in those flowers to the interview is Taylor's favorite quote from the novel by Zelda Fitzgerald that she had. And remember, before, Taylor's favorite quote was, "The girl with having wouldn't have waited for anybody," which is also mentioned in I Think He Knows. And now her favorite quote from this book by Zelda Fitzgerald says, "Look closer and you'll see something extraordinary, mystifying, something real and true. We have never been what we seemed." So the interviewer has to ask, does Swift relate to Zelda Fitzgerald? One would hope not, considering how tragically things turned out for the original flapper. But extraordinary, mystifying, real and true, that's Swift to a T. Maybe. So then May 30th of 2014, she's picking the 1989 album cover. And she has a couple different options to choose from. And then she goes back out on the Red Tour May 30th of 2014 in Asia. And she mentions how she had this dream that woke her up, that she couldn't shake, that she had chosen the wrong album cover initially. So she said how the team pulled up this new scanned file of the Polaroids that they had taken during the shoot. And she said she saw it within the first 10 seconds, like the photo that she picked for the 1989 cover. And it's a Polaroid of her sitting against a beige wall with a blue seagull sweatshirt on. You can see her red lips, but the photo cuts off the eyes. For some reason, unknown to her, it's the most intriguing photo I've seen. I think it's the mystery of not seeing my eyes. Kind of like the Zelda Fitzgerald quote a little bit that she was feeling just a few days earlier. She said, "Maybe it just looks effortlessly cool." She said the craziest moment came when something caught her eye. The cover photo is photo number 13. And then she played the sold-out show in Shanghai, and then she goes to Tokyo. So then June comes, and June is Pride Month, and the Red Tour actually finishes June 12th of 2014. And then at some point in June of 2014, she posts a quote by C.S. Lewis. She says, "There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind," because the Red Tour just finished, and she's like in the complete smack dab middle of 1989. The album's basically finished, you know. So June 13th of 2014, she goes to Karlie's first thing, right? And there's that famous Garden Gate mentioned in Cruel Summer. Though I'm not sure if Cruel Summer is summer of 2014 or summer of 2012, because I do think a larger part of me does think it's summer of 2012, given the Garden Gate metaphor. But I cannot deny that Karlie has an actual Garden Gate, and that's probably described in 2014. Now, Cruel Summer is the song describing a summer love that is almost desperate, and you knew it might come to an end. So I mentioned Ready For It could be like a Swiftgron song from 2013, but I also think it might be a Kaylor song from summer of 2014. The original lyrics, again, are "In the middle of the night in my dreams, that's when I get to be with you, you're so sweet." So I think the he's, like the he male pronouns in Ready For It is the bombastic, her stage persona, her media reputation, right? And then I think the pre-chorus, like the soft you pronoun, is Karlie, if we're gonna allude it to being a Kaylor song. I also want to point out again that in the behind the scenes music video, she definitely says the robot boys are not real. June 17th of 2014, they're seen again, just having a conversation. And then June 18th of 2014, she's out and about in this outfit, but she also has Olivia. So she got Olivia on this day, before this day, and I think Olivia is actually Karlie's gift to Taylor, honestly. I think Karlie actually got Olivia for Taylor, just because of the Vogue BFF video.
Taylor Swift. And also Olivia Benson's two-way tie.
Okay, first.
In the music video, for me, Taylor shows that she's getting flowers, which was an ode to like Back to December. You gave me roses and I left them there to die. She got a ring, which was like an ode to like Swiftgron, and then she got a cat, and Taylor's like, ah, like you obviously you know me, and she was explaining that in the music video. And so I think Olivia is actually Karlie's gift to Taylor, not to mention that the comment that the comment that Karlie makes about Olivia, the Vogue BFF Friends video, she just kind of just like gives her a nod and they laugh about it, like an inside joke. June 20th of 2014, she's going to Karlie's house again. And then June of 2014, shooting the Shake It Off video, and she's talking about ballerinas, and she's obviously like really excited talking about the ballerinas. She was breathing really heavy, and the reason we point that out is because Karlie actually grew up doing ballet, and Taylor brought up Karlie when she talked about the ballerinas and the Shake It Off behind the scenes. And Taylor mentioned how you can tell that Karlie does ballet because she points out the way that Karlie walks on the runway. She does another interview in June of 2014 talking about how she's single, she loves her life, she doesn't feel comfortable providing any like romantic entertainment anymore. So she's really, in summer of 2014 and on, trying to dismantle the reputation and persona and stage presence that she has in the media. And so you can see that she obviously by this time at least has a concept that there is a reputation part of her that she's trying to dismantle while she's writing about her real feelings. So you can see the dichotomy that's already starting early on, even in the 1989 era, that's going to really get theatrical in the Reputation era. And she's like, she mentions in this interview that she's also tired of gossip. So you can tell that Karlie's clearly, Taylor's feeling like Karlie's probably going to be the one at this point. So very early on, like as soon as they met, 2014, when they were serious, Taylor knew that like I need to get rid of this boy crazy persona because I don't want to do this much longer. I am with you and I want the world to know that. So then July 4th of 2014, she has that weekend in Rhode Island with the girls. And then this might be the After the Storm, Something Was Born on the 4th of July from Endgame. The storm of like Clean and the breakup with Dianna. This means that I think if Endgame was written in summer 2014, which I think is another possibility, I think Ed's verse might be about Karlie, written from Taylor's perspective, how they met when they were young but reconnected when they were a little bit older, which is true because they've been in at least passing since 2010, 2011. I also want to point out that in the music video for Ready For It, she's actually wearing glasses that look crazy similar, that still look similar to the 22 music video and the Style Target commercial We Are Never Getting Back Together music video, but they are also supposed to be Ed's glasses, so I'm not sure if that's purposeful or not. There's also a little K symbol on the yacht that's used in the music video, and it's the same K symbol seen in the graffiti. Not to mention that in the Endgame music video, there's a tall girl on the bus, and in the background of the alley of the Endgame music video is a tall figure that looks like Karlie as well. Not to mention she's standing on the side of the other female love interest that is in the music video as well. People who have seen the Endgame music video multiple times notice that the same woman of color seems to be like the female love interest in the music video without being really explicit about it. Also in the Endgame music video, it shows the flowers that have been posted before by Karlie. It also shows Taylor's earrings that look like Karlie's little symbol as well. Very popular. In the Endgame music video, you can see that Taylor is leading a pack of motorcyclists, and the motorcyclists that she's leading are 8 of them, which represent her past 8 boyfriends. And you'll see the number 8 also pop up in other music videos for beards, such as in Look What You Made Me Do, there's 8 male dancers as well as 8 bodyguards around the golden cage, and in Ready For It, there's 8 robots as well. Also in the Endgame music video, the juice box that Taylor is sipping from, it does say Endgame on the juice box. If you Google the Urban Dictionary meaning of juice box, it's actually slang for female sexual innuendos, and it's also the only scene where she wears red lipstick. So here's the choose from my red lips. But I'm not sure if like the choose from her red lips is also like a shout out to like she wrote it in the Red era about Swiftgron, or if she wrote it while like on the Red tour, which would have been while making 1989 while dating Karlie. I don't know. I also want to mention that if you also Urban Dictionary the definition of the A-team, it says group of main characters in a film or book who seem to always survive everything whilst all the other characters around them die out. Kind of like all of my heroes die all alone in The Archer. Someone also posted an Urban Dictionary definition of like the gay team with the A capitalized, and it's definitioned as what the A-team should have been called. Not to mention that in the music video for Endgame, it also has that scene in the middle of Tokyo, and all the writing on all the signs, the different ones, they all say like Meredith, Olivia, Rumor, A-team, Japan's convenience store, Family Mart. I want to point out that one in particular that we said is translated is I want to be on the same team as you. I mean, I guess it could be talking about like early crush stages, but even if you want to think of like in terms of like she's dating Joe, I want to be on the same team as you is interesting because like she can't be on the same team as him because she likes girls. But then if she's talking about Karlie being on the same team as Karlie, I want to be on the same team as you, but she has to act like she's straight. So like either way, it's like a problem. July 14th of 2014, she has lunch at Sarah Beth's with Karlie, and then Karlie had to shoot after that lunch date, but when she was finished, she went back to Taylor's apartment to cook dinner. July 17th of 2014, Jack Antonoff actually gives an interview on the WTF podcast interview with Mark Maron, and he actually accidentally outs Taylor as gay on the podcast.
There's a better chance that if I'm in the room working with a woman that we're going to get along.
And she's not going to say like, this dude fucking gave it to me last night.
Or like, I just piled through, these 4 guys over the weekend.
You're not going to have that conversation with Taylor Swift?
No.
Okay.
I like women, and particularly gay women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she gay?
No, but I work a lot with Tegan and Sarah. And
okay. I was like, well, but do we have a breaking story here? Did you just tip it? No. Well, that's nice.
What is the world's biggest misconception of you?
You know what that is.
I do.
Yeah.
What?
I'm dating everyone I go to lunch with, and I fall in love with everybody I date.
Are we dating?
You just wait.
Okay.
Tomorrow, you'll see.
Then they go out again July 21st of 2014 at a gym lunch outing. I like to point out that in these pictures, both the bodyguard and Karlie were holding that door. There was no reason for Taylor to reach her hand out and also try to open that door, and the only reason she wanted to was probably just to touch Karlie's hand in plain broad daylight. So the next day they go out again, another gym outing, July 22nd of 2014, and then they have a girls' night the next night with Kimby, Karlie's sister, July 23rd of 2014. And Karlie clearly doesn't know where Taylor's waist is and still doesn't to this day. Fun fact. July 31st of 2014, they go to the Ingrod Michaelson concert together. And the night started off by one of Karlie's childhood friends, Davis, posting this picture of Taylor. They were dancing on the stage, and you can see at one point Karlie tries to kind of like dance with Taylor. And Taylor like goes along with it for like half a second and then like has to walk away, and Karlie has to like play it off. So you can see that Taylor's still a little scared scared. Like, she's verbally putting it out there, like, in the media, that she's single and she is done with the drama, she's done with gossip and boys and all that, but she's still a little uncomfortable completely being physically out, you know. During an interview, Ingrid actually talked about Taylor and Karlie being in attendance at her show, and then she asked if they were going to the after party, and Taylor and Karlie were like, no, we have an early shoot. So then Taylor was like, no, we have an early shoot, and Karlie was like, no, I have an early shoot. But they said it at the same time, no, I have an early shoot. And then Ingrid's like, what do you do? And then Taylor's like, she's a Victoria's Secret supermodel angel woman. And like, she's just so supportive. Like, she's so cute. She's such a supportive girlfriend. So like, from what Ingrid said, we can gather that Karlie and Taylor actually probably went home with one another, if not living together. And Karlie was the only one with an early shoot, but Taylor still went home early with her so she could spend more time with her. Ingrid talks about them in the we sense, which in my opinion is very coupley. Taylor flipped out because Ingrid didn't know who Karlie was. That's, you know, that's how that went. And then August 3rd of 2014 is Karlie's birthday, and Taylor posted probably one of my favorite pictures of Karlie, to be honest, because it's just so cute. Taylor posted the picture of Karlie for her 22nd birthday, and she says, happy 22nd birthday to Karlie Kloss, who is made out of 100% sunshine. I don't know why. I love that picture. Karlie actually responded with, thank you, my love, like with all these exclamation points, but it's since been deleted. And for a few weeks, like, they weren't seen much together after this, just because, like, that was a big day. It was Karlie's birthday, and Karlie was photographed leaving Taylor's house in the morning, and 2 articles came out questioning Taylor's sexuality / living arrangements. And Karlie posted, like, thank you, my love, to her birthday post. So they weren't seen much together for a few weeks, but they did like each other's tweets. But Taylor did describe the 1989 era as it was apparently a time of just limitless potential and the idea that you can love who you want. Yes. On August 6th of 2014, Karlie was papped again, leaving Taylor's 3 days after her birthday. And then Taylor gave another interview saying how she was in a place where she felt like love isn't everything to her. She said, living my life, having fun, having the best friends I could possibly have, and being the best friend I could possibly be. That's what's important to me. And she talks about how much she values normalcy, how she wants to, like, just so badly to just be normal, or to live, like, to have normalcy in her life and still do what she, like, wants to do. And that one of the ways she still has connections with human beings is by going online and reading about, like, our normal lives, and it helps ground her and keep her mentally well, especially in that era, because she just realized she, like, hadn't been truly alone in, like, 5 years. You always have a designer, you always have a costume stylist, you always have hair and makeup people, bodyguards, entourage, like, not that she has much of, like, an entourage per se, but she's just, like, never, like, alone, you know? And then August 13th to 2014, they face living together rumors. So in August, rumors began circulating that Karlie and Taylor were living with each other. Taylor actually did a Rolling Stones article where she showed Karlie had her own bedroom in Taylor's home. It's what sparked the rumors. And on August 26th, Karlie and Josh attended the US Open to help fight off the rumors that Taylor and Karlie were living together from August 13th to 2014. So you can see that beards are definitely orchestrated. So she gives another interview after that saying how important female friendship has become to her, and how the possibility of having a boyfriend just isn't possible, and he couldn't deal with all the stuff that she has going on and getting papped everywhere, and she just says, like, it just wouldn't be worth it. Especially with the reputation that she has. She doesn't use the word reputation, but it's basically what she's saying. And she says how she's tired of the sexist jokes that get made about her songwriting because she's a woman, which is very valid. September 3rd of 2014, she's papped getting off her jet wearing that New York sweatshirt that actually reappears March 11th of 2015, a year later. And what this tells me is that Dancing with Our Hands Tied might have been written in fall of 2014 or late August of 2014 because it was the same sweatshirt that was seen in the Rep magazine with the Dancing with Our Hands Tied lyrics on it. Either it was written at that time or it was written later on in September 2015 because that shirt does make a reappearance, so I'm not quite sure. More of me believes that Dancing with Our Hands Tied is a nostalgic song about Swiftgron, but I cannot deny the connections, such as this one, to Kissgate in December of 2014. So we're going to get into that in a little bit as well. So September 17th of 2014, they have a lunch date at the Honor Bar in Beverly Hills, and I want to point out that September of 2014, they're still hanging out. So August passed, right? And August on Folklore is a song all about how, like, we spent the summer together. Will you call me when you go away? Are we still going to continue this? And then later on, that same character is just like, don't call me kid. Like, look at this fool you made me, like, over a summer. And how it's the frantic feeling of a summer relationship not lasting. And I think Cruel Summer is the summer that James is thinking about in Betty. And because of that, I don't think that the song August and the summer that's being alluded to is the Cruel Summer. And because of that, I don't think the Cruel Summer is summer of 2014. Because Karlie and Taylor are still hanging out after August of 2014. And they're still, like, having a grand time together. Maybe I Love You Ain't That the Worst Thing You Ever Heard is, like, satirical, but I don't think it is. I think it kind of connects to the story in Folklore. So September 17th of 2014, they have a lunch date at the Honor Bar in Beverly Hills in LA. So they went from New York to LA. They're in LA in September of 2014. 2014, which I guesstimate to be like September 10th. The sidewalk is etched. So there's a sidewalk near Karlie that has a little, like, TS heart KK on it. And then later on, it's actually not there anymore. But I think it's the same sidewalk referenced, and I think he knows. Sidewalk leads to where I can't stop. Go there every night. Sometime after June 15th of 2015, it wasn't there anymore, so it'll come back up again later. September 19th of 2014, Taylor actually uses female pronouns while singing the I Knew You Were Trouble performance at iHeart Radio Music Fest Night 1.
She never loved me, or her, or anyone, or anything.
September 27th of 2014, she posts a picture about Avicii, comparing, like, their faces together. And I just find it interesting considering what the Reputation era was about to behold. So I think it was actually a little Easter egg as early as then, but either we really, really didn't know it, or the concept was very, very early on at that point, or maybe Taylor didn't even know it herself. But she posted that picture September of 2014 of a half and half bass, which is basically the concept of Reputation. September 28th of 2014, the 1989 Secret Session in Nashville happened. And then October is LGBT History Month, which is when more Secret Sessions in New York happens. And October 8th of 2014 is actually International Lesbian Day. And the next day, October 9th of 2014, Taylor actually covers Riptide. And she looks so happy doing it. And then the next day is the London Secret Sessions.
Have to be loneliness in being alone, and you can find romance in your life even if you aren't involved in a romance. You know, life can be beautiful and spontaneous and surprising and romantic and magical without you having some love affair happening. And you can replace all of those feelings you used to have when you were enamored with someone with being enamored with your friends and enamored with learning new things and challenging yourself and living your life on your own terms. And I never I never understood it when people would say, oh, you know, in your 20s, you just need to be alone. And I never quite got it because they would never explain to me that it's so important to define yourself on your own terms. If you think about it, when you're in love, that person's opinion affects your opinions. And everything you do goes through this filter of how would they feel about it. Because if you're a caring person and you're in love, then that's what you do. But there's something really wonderful about changing your life if you want to, cutting your hair short if you want to, moving to New York if you want to, changing directions of your entire creative outlook if you want to, and having it only be on your own terms. So that's what I learned.
Can you tell me something just to make me feel better about myself? Like, do you eat in bed or do you do something?
What are you talking about? You are so gorgeous. It's hard to talk to you. Don't even do that.
I love that.
That's so crazy. You have the cheekbones.
There's something about New York that makes me want to dress up for it, which is this strange, unexplainable thing.
And I thought, boy, I hope that's not true. I hope that your heart is still open to all possibilities.
I'm protecting my happiness like a fortress. It's a very different thing. And when I tell people how happy I am to be alone and to be living my life on my own terms and to be free and independent and empowered, the first thing they say to me is, oh, don't worry, you'll find someone. Yeah. And that is so not the point.
We read about your friendships with very famous people. What makes a good girlfriend for you?
A good girlfriend for me is someone who is an individual. Also, none of my friends are gonna get mad at me if we don't talk for 2 weeks.
What makes a good boyfriend?
Oh, I haven't figured it out yet.
She gives another interview and she talks about how she's too young to get married because she doesn't feel like meeting someone right now is the best thing for her because her career is so crazy and she is in the limelight so much that she, again, doesn't know who would put up with that. And she's in the middle of trying to not date anyone because she got tired of what the tabloids were saying. And she talks about that in this interview. Then October 21st of 2014, Taylor posts a picture of her, Austin, and Karlie. Taylor also spends the day posting different New York related things, hashtagged welcome to New York, which is like, yes, promoting her single, but also it's kind of like a little like ode to Karlie in my opinion, which I think is really cute. Taylor even says that Karlie feels like family. The photo is captioned, having family that feels like a best friend and a best friend that feels like family. Hashtag welcome to New York. You see horses depicted later on too in the Reputation era. I do know that Karlie at some point does have like a little like ranch that she's associated with. So I definitely associate horses with Karlie. Taylor reblogs a post on Tumblr, and it's captioned, we became lovers forever, eternally. Big words, I know, but I truly felt that no matter what happened, we could always be in love. A quote by Ava Gardner. And Taylor reblogs it saying, had I been born in the correct decade, I totally would have shipped Ava and Frank. Someone else also tweeted how Taylor Swift did an interview in Esquire magazine. And they said, Taylor's a pretty cool chick. Love this interview in Esquire magazine. All women should read Esquire. Shortly after, people started speculating that Taylor's songs were about Karlie on 1989, of course. Not to mention they're seen all throughout 2014 together. And there was a message board that was going on about Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss. This whole album is about Dianna or whomever she dated before, and just a hint of Karlie, like Welcome to New York, based on the photos she liked, or at least You're in Love. Wow, I really feel bad for Karlie. I mean, you listen to your girlfriend's love history, track by track, if they're a thing, of course. If I were Karlie, I don't know how to feel anymore, LOL. And then someone anonymously like responded, and it was pretty aggressive. Basically it ended with like, that's how you deal if you're Karlie fucking Kloss. And people speculated that it was like Karlie Kloss on the message board like responding. Before the 1989 release, Josh posted this picture on October 25th. And then the next day, Karlie posted this. So to make it seem like they're together at Mount Popa in Myanmar. But then October 26, 2014, the same day that Karlie posted that, they are actually at lunch together, and we know this because a fan took a picture and it's in New York. So they were trying to make it seem like they were in Booma again because Kimby had commented on Karlie's post telling them to have fun. When you clicked on what Karlie had geotagged the picture as, New York popped up. And to make this event funnier, she was at lunch with Taylor after the GMA performance, and it was when she posted the picture with Josh. And we know this because a fan actually took a picture of them at the restaurant. And so I personally think they created this distraction and diversion so people wouldn't speculate that some of the songs on 1989 were about Karlie, even though we already were speculating. October 29th of 2014, they go to the Knicks basketball game together, and you can see that Taylor's clearly nervous, but I think it was because she had a performance or something to do there at the game. They did do a tribute performance using Welcome to New York. But we like to take notice that they are drinking beer out of plastic cups. It's just a fun, cute night that we like to remember. And you can see them walking out after the game together, just Taylor looks so proud, a little smug. We know that she knows that we know, but the general public does not know, you know? And then October 31st of 2014, she gives another interview saying how, in the past, she's written mostly about heartbreak or pain caused by someone else and felt by her. But on this album, she's writing about more complex relationships, which I think is a little bit of a dig, more mature relationships, where the blame is kind of split 50-50, which is a sense of maturity. She says she's writing about looking back on a relationship and feeling a sense of pride even though it didn't work out, reminiscing on something that ended but you still feel good about it. Falling in love with the city, falling in love with a feeling rather than a person. And she's saying how she feels prideful for ending things with Dianna, because I get the understanding of looking back on a relationship that's over and being yeah, you know what, I'm glad it's over because you were never gonna grow, you know? I'm proud of myself for ending it. So, I mean, I get it.
All of my relationships have been young relationships.
Yeah.
Young relationships don't work out most of the time, just statistically speaking. But then you add the pressure of we're being written about internationally all over newspapers just because we went to lunch. Going to lunch in a celebrity couple is somehow worldwide news. And it's very warped because the most fragile thing you can ever be a part of is a new blossoming relationship. And then when you have everybody looking at it going, do you think they look cute together? Vote, readers.
It's almost doomed before it even has a chance to begin.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a chance. It's just kind of, it's the hardest element of my life to think about because I don't see a way that it could be. That it could work.
This is when I think So It Goes was possibly produced, made in the studio. Just because November 6th of 2014, the co-songwriter for So It Goes, Oscar Gores, posted a picture of a stamp with Max Martin on it. So maybe that's when So It Goes was produced, but that's just a reach that I'm making based off Instagram. November 12th of 2014, they go shopping at Sephora and the ABC carpet in New York City. And so Karlie was doing some last minute shopping with Taylor before taking off for Paris. And that's when they were shopping for the gifts for the Swiftmas event that we all know. So then the Vogue photo shoot, the Vogue BFF photo shoot that they did was actually shot November 19th of 2014. So we have all the pictures. It's a very infamous photo shoot. It's very popular. And then November 23rd of 2014, a couple days later, Dianna actually sees Taylor at the AMAs with her new girlfriend. You see that Taylor and Karlie definitely have fun at the VMAs together. Apparently they only could find one chair for them to sit at for their interview together. And they're just seen throughout the night just hugging, holding hands, putting their hands around the waist, standing really close. It's they're like very much like all over each other, and everyone just brushes it off as like gals being pals, and just they're so dumb. It's also the picture of the rose on fire in the blank space video, and it says, "Roses are red, love was frozen deep blue, this rose can melt it and it's a gift too." And the rose by any other flame emoji, the original caption for it was "Rose by any other flame," which has been previously compared to Shakespeare's "Rose by any other name." And it's connected with Dancing with Our Hands Tied, because another presentation of the emoji was "Roses are red, love was frozen deep blue, this rose can melt it and it's a gift too." So this makes me think that Dancing with Our Hands Tied might have been about Swiftgron furthermore, but I'm not sure, because it also on the other side of things can also make you think that it's even more about Kaylor. Who knows? The next day after the AMAs, BuzzFeed actually posted an article that said 19 signs your best friend is actually your soulmate, using all the pictures of Taylor and Karlie at the AMAs, and Taylor actually retweeted it, and she was just like, "Ah, Karlie," and like, it was just so cute, and I wonder if it was purposeful from a PR perspective, but it was like, it was basically telling the fans, like, you're not the only ones, like, we see it too, but we just can't say it, you know what I mean? Then Karlie posted a picture of a girls' night with the squad, November 24th of 2014. And then Taylor does another interview talking about how her friends are all very powerful women that are all very busy, but she's really grateful to like have the friends that she has and the kind of camaraderie that they have as well. Now, December 2nd of 2014 in London is when the Victoria's Secret fashion show happens, and it was very loud, to say the least. And it's so cute. You can see that Taylor's like, and you can see that Taylor's like clearly like nervous, and just like, you can see that Taylor's like nervous and just like, you know, it's just, they're just like eye screwing each other the whole time. Just like, the looks were on fire that night and documented in history forever. And it was like a peak golden Kaylor moment for us to just have forever. Not to mention the interview that Taylor gave with Lily Aldridge, that she's been friends for years with, said that being at the Victoria's Secret fashion show was like a literal fantasy.
Every single one of the girls has been in that trailer.
It's like
just
our camp.
And they're all wearing these robes, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like an actual fantasy.
Because she's gay. And then at the after party, they're still there just like holding hands. And after the fashion show, Karlie actually did an Instagram picture of all the models and Taylor, saying, "Backstage with these gorgeous angels," and she uses gorgeous. And the next day, December 3rd, she does another photo and again uses the word gorgeous, talking about Taylor and Ariana Grande. So this makes me think that gorgeous is definitely written by this time, very early on in the beginnings of Kaylor, like in 2013. Then Kissgate happens. It's a very big event in Kaylor history. December 4th of 2014 at Terminal 5 in New York, they go to a concert together. Basically, there's footage of drunk Taylor getting very dancey and very handsy with Karlie, and then allegedly a full makeout session is reported on video from a far blurry distance. And Karlie did not back away. She like fully supported it and held Taylor and was like in the kiss with her. And there's just, and Taylor was drunk. Taylor was so drunk, and you can see in the picture too, she's getting like basically carried out by like Lily and Cara, and they look a little pissed. Honestly, they look a little peeved, and so it caused a lot of damage PR wise. But Kissgate is a very big Kaylor event that happened. Now, if Cruel Summer is like about summer of 2014, I do picture it to be like coupled with Dancing with Our Hands Tied, like Dancing with Our Hands Tied like being about the night of Kissgate, and then the chorus of Cruel Summer being like, I'm drunk in the back of the car after Kissgate, like, and I cried like a baby coming home from the bar and said I'm fine but it wasn't true, like I don't want to keep secrets just to keep you, because she was like having fun, and like the Victoria's Secret fashion show footage like went so well. It still has to air, and this happened, and I just don't want to keep secrets just so I can keep you. You know, I love you, and maybe that's true, like maybe that's what happened. Maybe they're connected and maybe that's how, but maybe they're not. So this channel is to explore all the possibilities of when all these songs could have been written about each relationship. So Dancing with Our Hands Tied I've seen as like a nostalgic song about Swiftgron, but I've also seen it here as like about summer 2014, how it's a breakable heaven, and I'm drunk in the back of the car after the bar after Kissgate, screaming I don't want to keep secrets just to keep you, I'm in love with you. But I've also seen it as like through the lens of summer 2016, how it's like a cruel summer and it's the apocalypse, and she's heartbroken because she has her but not publicly, you know. So, and that's also like when the beard situation changed, where she picked one beard for the next 3 years. I don't want to keep secrets just to keep you. And so this channel is to explore all the possible avenues that each of these songs could have been written. So that's also another possibility that I have. That's another possibility and lens that I look through Cruel Summer with. I don't want to keep secrets just to keep you also makes me think of the line in Daylight where it says, I'll tell you the truth but never goodbye. Fun fact, in the You Need to Calm Down music video, also depicted at the VMAs 2019, they're lounging in beach lounge chairs with like with tanning screens on, and it's the same image depicted in the Girls music video, which is the 1975 song played during Kissgate. December of 2014, I picture the line of people started talking, putting us through our paces. Not to mention, at 2014, Taylor would have been about to turn 25 years old. And on December 8th of 2014, she tweets, "It's my 25th birthday present from the media. I'd like for you to stop accusing all my friends of dating me. #thirsty." Which was kind of true, because there wasn't really anything going on with Taylor up until this point in the media, and they really weren't reporting about her. And now it was a little thirsty for them to be like, oh, she's dating Karlie. And she, one, had to put an end to it PR-wise, but two, like, they were being thirsty. December 9th of 2014, the Victoria's Secret fashion show premieres, and they have a viewing party on December 9th all together. And not to mention, someone actually tweeted that night after watching, saying, "Watching Karlie watch Taylor during this moment of Taylor watching Karlie was everything." This is actually when I perceived False God to be written. So Boss God also has religious undertones, just like in Don't Blame Me, and just like in State of Grace and Holy Ground. Because you have to remember that Taylor actually went to religious school when she was younger, a lot younger. In Boss God, she mentions Crazy, like in Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. She mentions Die For You, like in Don't Blame Me. She mentions Jump, like in Me. She mentions an ocean, like in This Love. She mentions Fly, like in Out of the Woods. She mentions Religion, like in Cornelia Street. She mentions My Hips, like in Death by a Thousand Cuts. And she mentions Heaven, like in Cruel Summer. She also mentions West, like in Delicate. I also had an idea once that the devil in Cruel Summer, like, he looks so grinning like a devil, is like a false god. But I don't know. So I think they were nervous about the Victoria's Secret fashion show airing because there were so many Kaylor moments, and then it happened, and then people definitely like talked, but I don't think it was like earth-shattering or pushed people's speculation as much as they thought it would. And so I think she might have written False God after the Victoria's Secret fashion show like ended. December 11, 2014, Karlie was papped leaving Taylor's, and Taylor was giving an interview at the time, and Karlie actually jumped in on that interview with her as a friend, and talking about their outfits and talking about their friendship. And you can see her wearing the same outfit that she wore in the Vogue BFF video. She's papped again, leaving that night from Taylor's apartment. And then the next day is Taylor's birthday and the Jingle Ball. December 13th of 2014, Taylor turns 25. And the night started off with Karlie's sister Kimby and Karlie attending the Jingle Ball performance. And then of course after that, a bunch of people go to Taylor's apartment to celebrate her birthday, and I noticed that Karlie actually arrives separately from the rest of the people. I don't know why she didn't leave the Jingle Ball in the same car that packed Taylor and a slew of friends, but she arrived separately, and you can see in the video that she like goes to reach for a key, but then remember she isn't supposed to have a key for Taylor's apartment, and it's very subtle, and it's something that only like Kaylor's comment on, and maybe it's because we're looking for it, but it's something to notice. And you can see as she's approaching Taylor's apartment that she like kind of goes to reach for a key, and then remember she isn't supposed to have one, and it's very small and it's very like quick, but Kaylor's noticed that like, oh, like she did arrive separately from everyone else. I don't know why she couldn't just arrive with everyone else right after the Jingle Ball. Like, Taylor mentions for her 25th birthday that she actually has like 20 different people flying in, and that her friends are staying in every room, which I think she kind of said is like, it might have been true, but like kind of as a cushion, so that way people wouldn't write about Karlie staying at Taylor's anymore, at least for her 25th birthday. Not to mention, Tree actually never denied Kissgate. And they've also never denied the fact that Karlie and Taylor were dating. They just have never commented on it. So then December 2014, Swiftmas happens when Karlie and Taylor went out and bought a bunch of fans presents. That was such a happy time. I sometimes rewatch that video and just get like happy. And I didn't even get a present for Swiftmas, and that video is just like so wholesome. But in the video, you can actually hear Karlie laugh at around 1:46.
We're gonna need more bubble wrap.
And then the picture below, you can see that they are together, of course, saying that they, you know, helped each other wrap the gifts for her bands. When you hear Karlie laughing in the video, Taylor is wearing a different outfit than she is in the Polaroid picture. And then December of 2014, she also posts a picture that's captioned "Clear Blue Water." So they took a vacation together in late 2014, early 2015. January 5th of 2015, Taylor likes a Tumblr post with a gif of Diana's interview from 2012, where Diana is asked about her future, and she says, "Just keep going, and if not, I can just go on the road with Taylor and carry her bags." That's an odd thing to like when you're in the middle of dating Karlie Kloss. So either she had mended things with Diana, or she liked it on accident, or she genuinely liked it because she's like not bitter anymore, because she's in a much whole, she's more whole with herself and at peace a little bit more with herself, which I know, like, when you are jealous of other people, it says more about you than it does about them, which I'm guilty of course. We all are as human beings. So being in a healthier spot in life definitely can help you not be jealous of other people, even if they have different than what you have. Maybe that's what was going on with Taylor, I don't know. But January 5th of 2015, Taylor likes a Tumblr post with the gif of Diana's interview from 2012, where Diana is asked about her future, and she mentions that carrying Taylor's bags on the road with her. And then 5 days later, January 10th of 2015, she posts a picture saying, "Jack and I went back to the birthplace of 1989 and simply rejoiced." And then she posts a couple pictures, January 17th of 2015, of her and her friends in her New York apartment. The first one is Girls' Night with Martha, Car, and Mar. And then the next one is Girls Night with a Bunch of Friends, the next night, January 18th of 2015. She captions, "I didn't get the let's all wear black memo." Martha Hunt actually responded, "No, you didn't," with another picture. And it was just really cute. The whole 1989 era, I thought about how, like, I needed more girlfriends. And I tell my, like, friend all the time, because I only have one friend, I need more friends, of like, why don't our pictures look like this? And she's like, because we're not rich and famous or have photographers like living in our house. And I'm like, but there's such good pictures. Like, the whole 1989 era was just like quality friendship pictures and content. Okay, like whether you believe in Karlie, whether you believe in Kaylor or not, they were great pictures that whole era. Loved it. Very jealous. So mid-January of 2015, she does another interview, January of 2015, and she says, "I don't worry that I haven't started the next record yet. I don't worry that I don't know what it's going to be. I'm not worried that I have absolutely no timetable as to when it needs to be done. It could be 2 years from now, it could be 3. It could be 4, or it could be 1. You get these bursts of inspiration right at the moment you're not expecting to. You just have to live your life, and hopefully you'll take the right risks." I'm not sure if it's within that same interview or a different interview, but at the same time, Karlie is actually quoted as saying that she's met a lot of really great girls through Taylor, and that Taylor's really incredible at connecting people who might not normally meet. We're all in different jobs, but we become strong friends who are there for each other. A sisterhood of girls, a support team, but we're also just normal 20-something girls, and I think you have to have people that you can be that with. You know, real friends are hard to find, and Taylor's a real friend. There's nothing better. It's nice to have a friend. January 23rd of 2015, she goes to Maui with the band Haim, and that was the infamous belly button photo that we got because she saw paparazzi in the distance trying to get a picture of Taylor's belly button, and Taylor decided to post it first. January 27th of 2015, Taylor's Twitter was hacked, and then Instagram was also hacked for like a day. And the damage was minimal, and the offending tweets were simply suggesting that Swift fans follow a certain account. But, you know, the hackers also claimed to have stolen nudes of Taylor, which, you know, they'd release for a small payment in Bitcoin. But the hackers were bluffing. And I remember she tweeted that, like, you know, people who say they have photos of nudes, like, ha, like, good luck. Like, no, you don't. Because I guess she, like, didn't take those kinds of photos. Which she doesn't have to when she's dating Karlie Kloss and living with her, so. January 3rd through February 1st of 2015 is when fans perceived Andrea, Taylor's mom, to possibly be diagnosed with cancer at that time. Because January 30th through February 1st of 2015, Karlie and Taylor went to Nashville, and they requested that no pictures be taken of them. And they most likely weren't going to, like, post about it, but a few fans actually got some pictures of them, and one was posted. They ended up posting their own pictures on Instagram, signifying that they were in Nashville together, because better them talk about it than, like, a freaking tabloid, right? Her mom was probably diagnosed with cancer around this time, so of course it's probably important for Taylor to have control of this narrative than have the tabloids, you know, about it first. So that's winter of 2015, and I picture that to be like the first verse of Soon You'll Get Better. You know, the buttons of my coat were tangled in my hair, and doctor's office lighting, I didn't tell you I was scared. But that was the first time we were there. Holy orange bottles, each night I pray to you, desperate people find faith, so now I pray to Jesus too, and I say to you, soon you'll get better. And I want to point out that desperate people find faith, so now I pray to Jesus too. I perceive this to be written after False God is written, like a month or two prior. I just made that little connection, and the situation that is being discussed at this moment is still really serious and sad. So February 2nd of 2015, the next day, she actually makes it a point to post about the Grammys, and she wanted to update the fans, saying that her whole life is wrapped up and entangled in planning the 1989 World Tour at the moment, and so she's not going to be performing at the Grammys this year, and that she needs this time to focus only on the tour. And in hindsight, if her mom was diagnosed just a weekend prior to, just a couple days prior to the Grammys, it would make sense that her priorities change and she's just like, okay, like my life is centered around family now for sure. So it would make sense that she, you know, doesn't take it upon herself to perform at the Grammys and tell fans that she's only focusing on the tour right now, which I think is half true and half about her mom without telling people it's about her mom. She mentioned later on that her mom's Christmas gift to Taylor was getting checked out at the doctor, and then they end up finding out that she has cancer, and I think that was Christmas of 2014. So then January of 2015, they go to Nashville. And then a day later, February 2nd of 2015, she says that her life is centered on the tour, so she's not performing at the Grammys, and she needs this time to focus only on the tour. Then we don't hear about her for about a week, you know. But during that week, the Style music video comes out, the Vogue photo shoot premieres February 13th of 2015, and the Vogue BFF video premieres. Karlie actually posted an Instagram photo of the photo shoot saying, Taylor Swift, will you be my galentine? Hashtag galentine. And then Valentine's Day 2015, after the Vogue photo shoot comes out, Dianna actually posts a bleeding heart avatar on social media with the caption 143. Remember those dates? 143 is an anagram or code for I love you from the Mr. Rogers cardigan connection. And it makes sense that she posts that after seeing the Vogue photo shoot done with Karlie. 143, remember those days with the bleeding heart ripped out. And then February 16th, 2 days later, the Caroline Herrera show happens. So as most know, Karlie is a model, so while she was opening and closing the show, Dianna was also in the audience watching. Not only did Karlie open and close the show, but in the video, she looked extremely smug doing it. And she always does to some extent, but during this show, she amped it up a little. And we weren't the only ones who noticed either, because a news article actually pointed it out as well. Saying Dianna Agron watches Karlie Kloss work the runway at Carolina Herrera, and in the article it says, walking the runway was Karlie Kloss, who kept a smirk on her face while showing off the designs. So the news is very, like, it's so funny because looking back in hindsight, the media is very loud and like, Kaylor is real, damn it, but they can't say it, like, I just find it so funny. And you can see in the video, in the pictures, in the GIF, that like Dianna is like, both Dianna and Karlie are like smug. They're just not happy about it. Like Diana's not happy about it, and Karlie's like, I know you're not happy about it, and I am loving it. So near the end of the show, the camera pans to Dianna, and this was the look on her face. So because of this experience at the Carolina Herrera show, to me, because of this experience, I personally think that This Is What You Came For might have been written about this experience. Like, lightning strikes every time Karlie moves, but she's looking at you, Dianna. And we, Karlie and Taylor, go fast with the game we play. The Carolina Herrera show is actually what I think of when I think of This Is What You Came For. But that's just my own personal opinion. I want to point out that This Is What You Came For mentions games we play, like in New Romantics, Ready For It, and Cornelia Street. And it also mentions Your Place, like in Delicate. So February 17th of 2015, Taylor actually goes to dinner with Kanye. And she said, I feel like I wasn't ready to be friends with him until I felt like he had some sort of respect for me. And he wasn't ready to be friends with me until he had some sort of respect for me. So it was the same issue, and we both reached the same place at the same time. And Taylor said that she became friends with Jay-Z, and she thought it was important for Jay-Z, for Kanye and her to get along. She said that it started with both of them really liking Jay and wanting him to be happy, and then Kanye and her both reached a place where he would say really nice things about my music. And at the time, she says, you know, we haven't planned anything, but I like him as a person, and that's a really good, nice first step, a nice place for us to be. And then at the time, she also says about Kim, she's like, I love Kim, she's the sweetest, she's just a really sweet, kind, warm person. And this was February 17th of 2015. And so in hindsight, you know, later on in the interview, she says, you know, looking back, she started to feel like they reconnected, which felt really great for Taylor because all that she ever wanted her whole career after that thing happened in 2009 was for him to respect her. When someone doesn't respect you so loudly and says you literally don't deserve to be here, I just so badly wanted that respect for him, and I hate that about myself, that I was like, this guy who's antagonizing me, I just want his approval. But that's where I was, and so we go to dinner and stuff, and I was so happy because he'd say really nice things about my music, and it just felt like I was hearing some childhood rejection or something from when I was... So they went to dinner February 17th of 2015, and Taylor said that it just felt like she was healing some childhood rejection or something from when she was 19. So that was February 17th of 2015, and then the next day, February 18th of 2015, is the Oscar de la Renta show. And when Taylor was asked why she was in attendance, because it's a fashion show that Karlie was invited to, instead of giving a normal answer, Swift, giggly in the front row with Kloss, declined to comment on her presence at the show, though it's hard to imagine she could have said anything remotely controversial considering the occasion. She also said, "My publicist would get mad at me." Also keep in mind, this was the last time they were seen alone in public until March 11th. Almost a week later, after the Oscar de la Renta show, February 24th of 2015, they do the fund fair. They go to the fund fair together, and you can see again Karlie has wandering hands, and that's also when Taylor and Calvin meet as well. I'm not saying Calvin's real. So this is a point where I'm going to actually start talking about Taylor's beards and including them in the story as well, because I do think it's important for the development and to explain the situations that are about to happen. So this doesn't mean that I think that her male love interests are real or that they aren't beards. I'm just giving them for context. So February 24th of 2015, Taylor and Calvin meet and their stunt begins. Now, I don't know if, like, someone just didn't do their homework or if Calvin really hated this experience, but he is perceived in the fandom as, like, the worst beard to exist. Like, I think they see him as worse than, like, Dear John. Like, I think they see him as worse than, like, John Mayer. And John Mayer has, like, an awful reputation for women. I think Calvin just really didn't like this experience because he went off the rails and it was not good. So February 24th of 2015, they meet and the Calvin Harris stunt begins. And the next night at the Brit Awards, February 25th of 2015, this is the last time Karlie and Taylor were seen together until June. They weren't seen together for 4 months. But the last time they were seen together was at the Brit Awards, February 25th of 2015. Karlie had flowers sent to her hotel again, her hotel in Paris right after the Brits, saying, "Finally made it to Paris and found this waiting for me, hashtag feeling loved." So that's like the 3rd time she's posting flowers after being seen with Taylor. This was right after she was with Taylor at the Brit Awards and she didn't tag anyone as the sender. I'm inclined to believe they came from Taylor, and in this post you can see that these flowers are almost identical to the ones Taylor posted with "You Are in Love" lyrics, the same song we believe to be about Karlie. To further show Taylor likes these sorts of flowers, she also sent a bouquet similar to the one she sent Karlie to the BBC Radio 1 talk host Fern Cotton. An article was released where Oscar Gores went on record to talk about the creation of So It Goes. This basically dates the song as produced in March of 2015 because he said he had just become a father and his first child was born March of 2015. And so we believe that to be the date that So It Goes was at least written, but definitely produced. I still think it was written a year prior in March of 2014 about the Vanity Fair Oscar party, when Karlie uses an Instagram post talking about black magic and Taylor uses an Instagram post that has 3 dots in it and talking about So It Goes as far as a new relationship goes. Not to mention So It Goes is also in the lyrics of You Are in Love. But it was a pretty big day in the Kaylor community. And March 6th through 10th of 2015, Karlie's in Paris, and it's also the date that the PR anniversary of Taven was. March 6th through 10th of 2015 would have been a year now that Karlie and Taylor are dating. Karlie and Taylor would have been together 1 year. Now the PR narrative is that this is the day that year 1 starts for Taylor and Calvin. People actually take a second look at the locket that was posted March 6th of 2015 that marks the 1 year of Taylor and Calvin, but it was really marking 2 years of Taylor and Karlie, because someone was taking a second look at it and she says, you know what, I was just thinking about the locket, that became a thing back when Calvin Harris was around, it says 2015 on it, and the post was made in 2016, so the locket says 2015 on it because it would have been 1 year in 2015. And people who believe in Calvin and Taylor were like, oh, it's because they started in 2015. And it's like, no. So March 11, 2015, she wears that New York sweater again from September 3rd of 2014 and from the Polaroid in the Rep magazine. And she looks straight at the paparazzi camera as she's wearing it. So we think it was meant on purpose. She did caption that Polaroid with lyrics from Dancing with Our Hands Tied. So Dancing with Our Hands Tied might have been written at this point. About looking back on Kissgate and saying, you know what, that happened and it was scary, but given the situation now and how things are going, I would have done it all over again. Wouldn't have done anything different. And I think that's also definitely a possibility. And at this time, if she would have written it at this time in March of 2015, she would have been 25. Not to mention there's also a little ballerina figurine in the Tamoji for Dancing with Our Hands Tied. March 15th, Karlie is not on social media, which I think usually means that she's with Taylor. And then March of 2015, Karlie actually faces potential buyout and loss of her apartment. March of 2015 is also when Tom Hiddleston meets Taylor Swift. March 23rd of 2015, Lily Aldridge actually posted a picture. And she tagged Taylor in it a few days before the Calvin Harris stunt started publicly. And the picture is a song called Twilight by Elliott Smith. And if you look at the lyrics, it's about a female love interest being with somebody else, which is basically bearding. And she had the gall to tag Taylor publicly shortly after Taylor and Calvin are packed in matching outfits at a Whole Foods in Nashville. So April 23rd of 2015, Taylor reblogs a Tumblr post, and the post says, when I'm home alone and go too hard to Bad Blood, and Taylor's actual tour choreography, hashtag foreshadowing, hashtag she knows, hashtag but how did she know, hashtag because we are one, which I think alludes to I think she knows, but also alludes to because we are one. I think it's two Easter eggs given in that one post. I think that the album, that Reputation, the album, wasn't planned and wasn't going to be released. It came as a spur of the moment out of anger. I think the album that was going to be released after 1989 is the Lover album. And I think that the songs written in Lover about the beginning of Karlie and Taylor's relationship would have been released right after 1989. And I think one of them would have been I Think He Knows based on this post. But I just don't think when things went according to plan. Hashtag because we are one. That's freaking loud. April 9th of 2015, she finally, well, to fans finally, but you know, to the world suddenly, announces that her mom is diagnosed with cancer, and kind of confirms to the fans a little bit that that's why they were in Nashville 3 months prior. The Bad Blood music video was filmed April 11th of 2015 and premiered May 18th of 2015, and you can see that the outfit that Karlie wears in the music video resembles the outfit in the 1989 tour. April 19th of 2015, Taylor wins the Milestone Award at the ACM Awards.
And to the fans, I know you love her as I love her. And for that, I thank you eternally. And so It's my pleasure, my pride, and my joy to introduce my daughter, Taylor Swift.
April 2015, she gives another interview saying how she like doesn't really know how to be like cool or sexy or chic. She's just like herself and enthusiastic and confident. Again, she mentions how she's trying to take down the narrative of being a serial dater and boy crazy. And I want to point out that she says it's a good thing that I feel really independent and I feel that my friends are all I need. It's just kind of a sad way that I got there, being shamed into it. And the interviewer is like, shamed? And she goes, well, what else is it when you have 2 boyfriends in 1 year and everyone's calling you boy crazy, making jokes about you at award shows? That's public humiliation. I don't think it's fair. Which, good for her, you know? April 23rd through the 27th of 2015, Martha Hunt's birthday happens, and Taylor posts a picture saying, it's Martha's birthday and still technically Gigi's birthday week. Wish I was with them. April 28th of 2015, she posts a picture from a photo shoot, and she says, that moment when you're reaching back to try and unzip your dress to go to bed, but like you can't reach because you're alone in your apartment and cats can't help because they don't have hands. From her Glamour UK photo shoot, which I find ironic because I think she was living with Karlie at that point. And it reminds me of the song Dress. 1989 tour starts May 5th of 2015, and then for a day, and then she comes back like May 6th of 2015. And then May 8th of 2015, Karlie posted an Instagram picture of her and Taylor, and initially the caption said, missing my girl, but a few short minutes after, it was changed to missing my BFF. And Taylor actually commented on it, and she said, we always do this. And then she goes back on the tour May 15. And then May 19th of 2015, but what I noticed out of these pictures is that Calvin is wearing a lion mask. Like a Leo. Like a lion. Like Karlie's zodiac sign. That's all I have to say about that. So May 28th of 2015, Karlie and Taylor have a dinner party in New York City, and she's actually wearing the same outfit that she wears later on in a picture that she takes with Calvin Harris. And someone also pointed out that that picture, which I'll talk about again later on, looks like a visual depiction of bearding. Calvin being at the front and Karlie being at the back. But yeah, May 28th, she wears that same dress. So that leads us to believe that this picture was taken May 28th of 2015. Then June happens, and June is Pride Month, and she returns from the 1989 tour June 13th of 2015. And June 15th of 2015, that Sidewalk etching is still there. It was changed sometime after mid-June, and the TS was changed to a J. To say J heart KK. And I felt like really sad about it. So she goes back on the 1989 tour June 19th of 2015. And I think she probably like takes Karlie at this point. June 25th of 2015, she gives another interview, and again talking about her friends and talking about the text threads that they have going on. She mentions in the interview, for the better part of 2012 and 2013 I didn't go online because I didn't like what they were saying about me. And it was so overwhelmingly inaccurate that I knew there was nothing I could do to fight it. When the media decides that they don't like you, there's nothing you can do that doesn't seem desperate and irritating to everyone when you try to defend yourself. Guys, this was how she was feeling in mid-2015. Like, 2016 hadn't even happened yet. So I just had to go into my little emotional bunker and pretend there weren't bombs going off outside. The interviewer asked, how did you crawl out of the bomb shelter? She says, I think I just decided that the media was going to say that about me, that I was boy crazy and so dependent on men and all that. I wasn't going to give them a reason to say that anymore, and I wasn't going to be seen around any men for years. So that's what I did. And what ended up happening was I became happier than I had ever been before. I swore I never would get into another relationship if it meant changing who I was or taking me out of that mode where my friends are everything to me, which was what happened to her when she was in Swiftgron. She basically lurches out of her seat when asked if it's important to her that her boyfriend and her friends get along. So important. Ugh, it's so important. Which is funny because, like, the PR, the general public is like, oh, Calvin, but she's talking about Karlie. She's totally talking about Karlie. She says, in every friendship group, you got one or two girls where you hear people say, oh, she's so different around her boyfriend. I never wanted to be that girl, so that was a huge goal of mine. Never ever become someone else for the sake of a relationship. The interviewer suggests that it can sometimes be hard to maintain one's identity in a new relationship, and Taylor and Swift laughs wisely. If you're a people pleaser like most of us are, you try to adapt to what signals that person is giving off. It's not about changing the fact that you're a people pleaser. It's about finding someone to date who is not critical. That can be the most painful thing, trying to love someone who is critical in their nature, which was Dianna. The interviewer asked, has that happened to you? Taylor says, yes, but usually I don't make the same mistake twice. I make new ones, but I don't usually repeat my old ones. She straight up called being in a relationship with Dianna a mistake. And saying that she isn't gonna make that same mistake again. June 6th of 2015, she does a 1989 tour in Hyde Park, and Karlie is there during Style, and you can see Karlie blows Taylor a kiss.
I'm never gonna forget this view for the rest of my life. He keeps his word, and for once you let go of your fears and your ghosts.
They're just so happy and proud being together on stage. And Karlie's singing the love story, and Taylor's singing You Are in Love, and they're just clearly just happy. June 26th, she posts a picture saying thank you London in all caps. June 26th, Taylor retweeted Lauren Aquilina about that night, saying, spent tonight surrounded by badass girls and couldn't be happier about it. There was another picture posted by Gigi Hadid saying, this is love. So things are going pretty well for the girls, for Kaylor by summer of 2015, well, June of 2015. So it's mid-June 2015, things are going well. Taylor's redefining her brand and her persona, her media perception, her reputation, and things are happy, and then in late June, while they are in London, the boat incident happens. We'll get into that next week. Thanks so much for tuning back in with me this week. Next week we're still going to be talking about Kaylor, starting off with the boat incident, talking about Taylor at 25, going into 26 years old, talking about 2016. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click the little notification bell. Drop down any comments below on any thoughts you might have, and check out my other stuff. And thanks so much for tuning in. I hope to see you again next week. Bye!